happy to see you, Laurie.
I'm happy to be here. I love
And you're in this wonderful play. I love when you were on
Yeah.
Broadway, but this is actually a really special Broadway season because you're pulling a double.
I
You're pulling a
am.
double this
I'm
season.
gonna try.
You're going to try.
Yeah, I am.
So you're currently in Little Bear Ridge Road.
Mhm.
And then in the spring, we get to see you in Death of a Salesman, which
Right.
is with Nathan Lane.
With
And we've
Nathan.
been sort of hearing that this production would happen for a while, and now it's booked. You're booked at the Winter Garden.
Nathan and Joe have been talking about it for decades.
Wow,
And then
really,
I got
decades.
added into the mix 1 decade ago, so 10 years ago.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been a long time in the mix.
I'm very excited for all of it, and I know that you love the craft of theater. You love going to the theater every night, working with brilliant artists, and sort of doing the thing every night, right?
Yes.
What is it like doing this thing every night? It's a beautiful play.
I think the play is beautiful too. So I'm definitely in my happy place right now. Yeah, I love nothing better than a rehearsal room with a great cast, great director, and figuring out what is the best way to tell this story as a group and bring as many surprises to the audience as we can, which I hope will translate into Salesman also.
Yeah.
This is was a commission.
Right.
So this is
commissioned for you and Joe.
Yeah, first time. Yeah,
which is wild.
I know.
Is this a first?
It's a first.
Oh, wow.
He
Okay.
wrote the part for me. So if I can't do this, I don't know what I can do. But I love being in the rehearsal room and digging around. It's like a little treasure hunt, and then being able to, just bond with the cast and the crew and the director, and then bring it onto the stage is a whole nother part of the puzzle. It's all a big puzzle to me.
Sure.
So I love that part of it. And I think that's why I never get tired of it, because each one is different and new.
It's exciting because people are coming into the booth theater not knowing
much about it.
Which on Broadway is a rarity these days, right? That you get to walk in and sort of not know.
I would love to wander into this
Yeah.
and not know much about it. And for as, I guess I'll say heavy as some of the themes in it get, there's so much humor.
Yes.
To Sam Hunter's credit, the writer.
Yes. So when a great writer is writing a Laurie Metcalf play for you, commissioned, which I love, what are those early conversations like? What did you want?
He didn't ask me anything.
Oh, no? Okay.
No, nothing.
Okay.
But he nailed the sense of humor.
Yes.
I have to say.
Yes.
His dialogue anyway in all of his plays comes off the page so easily in an actor's mouth. I think it's just it just lends itself to wanting to be said out loud. So the sense of humor definitely there. I think what also he got is something that I like to do, and again, we had no conversations about any of this.
Wow.
Is I like to do a really quick change, a head spinning change from either comedy to drama or drama to comedy, and then right back again. And this play does that really well.
Yes.
You can feel like you're at the surface level of something and enjoying it, and then it takes a deep dive real quick, and then it'll come back up again. I just love the artistry that a writer can do with that.
For some reason, when I first heard the title, I didn't realize it was just the name of a road. I thought it was like haiku, like Little Bear Ridge Road. I didn't know what it was. It's actually a real road, and a lot of the play was written there, right? Samuel's father, I think, bought a house property there.
Right.
You're playing Sarah in Idaho. You're a nurse. I love this character the minute you come on stage. She kind of has her little life figured out, it feels like. You know what I mean? She has that sofa. She has her TV shows. She's with that vacuum cleaner. I love
Everything's
how you.
got to be neat and in order. Yes.
I love powering that vacuum cleaner, and you're keeping it clean and keeping
Dustbuster.
Yeah.
Wipes,
you're
cleanse
just,
wipes. Everything's in order, and
yeah,
then the
all,
nephew
it's just
shows
this
up.
great little world that all just sort of, and then all the cracks get to sort of. I mean, it's such a beautiful setup. I feel like I see Sarahs all over the world. I run into her a lot. You know what I mean? I see a lot of people sort of who seem like they're sort of in this shell, like sort of living and surviving. And I feel like and it feels a little
compartmentalizing.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To get
Are you one of
through.
those actors that like goes out into the world and sees people and likes to study real people? And are you like an observer like that?
I think I always am, no matter what. I think if I see somebody with an interesting characteristic, I note it.
Yeah.
And think, oh, like that would be perfect to have on stage at some point. Whether it's a walk or a talk or a mannerism or something like that, I try to take note of those kind of things. This character just came about, but obviously it's what's on the page. Her bluntness, her trigger anger issues.
Yeah.
And then when the costume came together, that was interesting to me. They're just little pieces, but it's basically, it is kind of how I walk and talk and dress.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of funny backstage. I'm just basically getting out of what I really wear into what she wears, and there's no difference down to the fanny pack, which is in the other room right
Laurie
now.
Metcalf rocks a fanny pack.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the haircut and the zero makeup, and it's just, I don't know. Sam saw something and he just ran with it.
Yeah, it's a little comfy with the couch too. There's something comfortable about this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So heading into Death of a Salesman, this is very different for you because you've done so many original works on Broadway. And this is actually, I believe, the 7th time Death of a Salesman will be on a Broadway in its very long history.
Okay.
So there've been other Linda Lohmans. Have you seen some of them?
I have never.
You've never?
No, on
Wow.
purpose.
Okay.
Because if I think for some reason down the line I might be playing a iconic part, I don't go see it.
Wow.
I never saw Virginia Woolf.
Interesting.
Because I was going to have the chance to play that.
By the way, biggest loss of COVID for me was I didn't get to see that. You were like 1 week into that show, and and it was one of the few shows that just we didn't get to come back.
Oh, that was a rough one.
Was it easy for you to let go of that? I mean, we immediately entered into a pandemic, so there were many things to think about.
Yeah, so there was no questioning the decision, of course. Right. And everybody thought, 2 weeks off, good. We'll regroup and come right back. So in the moment it wasn't hard. We just thought it was a break.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's one of my biggest regrets because I had a taste of it.
Yeah.
9 previews. It was just a taste, and we're starting to.
I just read that book, Cocktails with George and Martha, and it really just made me think, like, I wish I saw Laurie got to do that. Is there any chance you would ever do it? Or is it just sort of like gone?
No, I think it's gone.
Yeah.
Interesting, though, for me, because I was like, I always felt like miscast in it. So, but it's interesting, though, when you do have a part like that people think, that doesn't seem like a good match. Then it's up to the actor, to find their own unique way into it. And so I think that's what I was starting to hit on. And I don't know, maybe Linda will be like that for me. I don't know that I'm a natural fit for that either, but I got to find my own unique way into it.
Yeah. So doing it with Nathan, obviously, you did the play November, David Mamet's play, which was very funny. He was the president of the United States, naturally, Nathan Lane. You were the speechwriter. Yes. Am I right? Is there something similar about the relationship of Willie and his long-suffering wife, Linda, as president and speechwriter?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, she's definite. Both characters are his definite support system, which he will acknowledge in both shows.
Are you excited to just get on stage with Nathan every night?
Yeah. It's only been the one time. And it was a big, broad farce.
Yeah.
Now we get to get in there and figure out some,
Do you sit with these? I mean, you've been sitting with this one for a long time. Have you put a lot of thought into this role over the years, or is it just sort of like, I'm going to do that eventually?
Yeah, I daydream about it. That's kind of how I start out, just sort of, walking down the street and talking to myself and daydream, what would it be like if this or that, even before rehearsals start.
Yeah.
And then in rehearsals, I start to look more and more like a crazy woman walking down the street because I'm running the lines and like acting it out. And I don't know what the hell I look like.
Yeah.
But
so if I see you walking down the street and you're talking to yourself, I'll just let
you'll
you
know.
That's part of our process.
Yeah. Yes. She's actually at work.
So humor me, if you will. I've always wondered what it was like in the early 70s at the drama department of Illinois State University. You and your classmates, if we could just, remind everybody. So you went to school with John Malkovich, Gary Sinise, Jeff Perry, Glenn Headley, Joan Allen. I mean,
Terry Kinney.
Yeah, right.
Did you say Jeff Perry?
Yeah.
Gary Sinise. I know.
So if I were going to make a TV show about, I feel like I'm going to be a good TV show. And then you all created Steppenwolf Theater Company, which is like, such an important part of American theater history. What would that TV show look like? What
back then?
Yeah, what we did it now? Like, let's make a TV show. Yeah, let's get a bunch of young actors and what were you guys up to?
It was a bunch of kids with a like-minded sense of humor, I think, who just wanted to make each other laugh. No matter what the play that we had selected we were doing or whatever, we just wanted to be outrageous in front of each other. And so that was the challenge. We weren't always playing characters that we were right for because we were all the same age, and there were no plays for a bunch of 23-year-olds or whatever it was. So people were having to play younger and older, and those stipulations on us sort of made us how to think outside the box of certain characters. And I think that was a little bit of a growing curve for us that was unintended.
I'm sure it helped develop all of your
I
skills.
think so too. I think it was that challenge that we were always trying to up each other's game. There was never any settling. There was never phoning it in. There was and it was all about there's a lot of egos in there, but it wasn't about the ego. It was about the really telling the story and collaborativeness is like, and we're doing True West, you need me to, I can bring in 3 toasters if that's what we need, because I'm not in it, or I was, but you know what I mean. And going out and finding our own costumes and very shoestring, of course, which also makes it fun and which also leads to interesting choices. When you don't have the money behind it and you have to think of something else, I like being put in those kind of corners where you have to rethink things.
And you still feel like you can do that? You can still keep that sort of, that element, even as a professional at this point in your career? Are you able to sort of hold on to that magic or find those challenges?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's always, like loving the challenge of it and wanting everybody to be, at their A game. And, what can you do to help me and what can I do to help you? Because it's all about, it's for the audience, and you want to give them the best show that you can possibly figure out, full of surprises, full of humor, full of, heartbreak. That to me is what it's all about, and that's everybody should be on the same page striving to do.
If I could time travel to May of 1979 and see you as Laura in the Glass Menagerie, I see it. There's one photo of you. You were like in a church, right? You guys were doing it like in a
church basement.
Yeah, church basement. It's just, with those incredible actors.
I know. It was good.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
It was a good one. I remember saying the line. I think the line is, I'm Laura. No, I'll be 23 in June, and I really was going to be that.
Wow.
I mean, it was that spot on.
Wow.
That play got us the notice of Richard Christensen, who was the head writer of the Chicago Tribune at the time, and that ended up putting us on the map enough that we could move into the city because we were way out in the suburbs.
Right. I love it.
I'd love to see it myself.
We'll
You
time
know?
travel together. Go
But
check
in
it
my
out.
mind, it was really good.
The photos are cool.
I think I cut my own bangs with a little pair of like nose clipper scissors or something like that, going for the sympathy vote.
I love.
I think it worked.
I love it, and I just love your career, and I just feel like you're in this beautiful chapter of your career, and you're doing this great work. I mean, by the way, you were also terrifying in Monster, the Ed Gein story. Oh, terrifying. I mean, I was like, wow. I mean, so I love that you're still able to do that stuff. But I just feel like I used to think of you as a really great TV and film actor that does Broadway. Now I think of you as this amazing theater actor who does film and TV. You know, and I really
that
do.
means a lot to me.
I love
because
it.
I did come up in theater.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I didn't come here to New York until I had done some TV. And I never felt right in the TV film world. As I do in theater.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that your opinion has been flipped.
Even though, admittedly, I think the first thing I ever saw you in was Desperately Seeking Susan, to be totally honest. So there is that as well. You know, you've done many great things. And right now, Broadway is better for it. I love it. I love having you around, and I can't wait to see Death of a Salesman.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Yeah.